Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today we will explore the emotional and true story behind one of Hollywood's most famous couples, Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen. After 18 years of silence, Valerie finally spoke up about the real reason for their divorce, revealing heartbreaking details that few expected. Is it just the difference between a TV star and a rock legend? Or is there something deeper? Find out in today's video. What do you think about the 18-year marriage between Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen? A beautiful but stormy love story has come to an end. Have you ever been in a long-term relationship but still had to break up? If so, leave the number 1, if not comment, the number 0. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Enjoy the video and leave a subscribe to the channel to support me. Valerie Bertinelli was not only an actress but also a familiar face to American audiences in the late 1970s. As Barbara Cooper in the popular TV show One Day at a Time, she brought the image of a friendly, charming, and positive girl. Valerie's smile was like an invitation, making millions of people feel close to her every time she appeared on screen. At the age of 20, she won 2 Golden Globe Awards, an achievement that many young artists only dreamed of. Valerie's career was stable and brilliant, making her a star known to the whole world. Eddie Van Halen, on the other hand, was the polar opposite. At 26, he was not only a talented guitarist but also a rising legend in the rock scene. As co-founder and lead guitarist of Van Halen, Eddie redefined rock music with his unique, inspired guitar playing. Albums like Van Halen, 1978-1984, and Fair Warning not only sold millions of copies, but also changed the world's perception of what a musician could be. Eddie embodied the wildness, rebellion, and explosive energy of rock and roll. Two people, two completely different worlds met by chance in 1980. Valerie, fascinated by Eddie's explosive energy, asked her manager to arrange a meeting. It was the moment when the clean, orderly world of television collided with the chaotic, free-spirited world of rock. Just a few months later, in April 1981, they married, becoming a golden couple in the eyes of the public. The combination of television princess and rock prince made the media and fans unable to take their eyes off. But behind the halo, their story was much more complicated than their perfect appearance. Valerie and Eddie's wedding was a national event, but the glamour couldn't mask the hardships of their early years. Valerie was working non-stop on the set of One Day at a Time with a tight schedule and meticulously prepared scripts. Meanwhile, Eddie lived in a world of endless parties, all-night performances, and extended tours. Their lives were parallel lines that rarely intersected. To maintain their relationship, Valerie frequently flew between cities, filming during the day and catching overnight flights to see Eddie on tour. Their hectic lifestyles made it difficult for them to find real time for each other. The differences were not only in their schedules, but also in the way they lived. Valerie, with her family background and traditional values, sought stability. Eddie, on the other hand, reveled in the freedom of a rock star. This contrast, while initially attractive, gradually became a barrier in their lives together. The pressures of fame add to the tension. Both are in the media spotlight, but they handle the spotlight differently. Valerie tries to maintain the perfect image of a TV star, while Eddie is comfortable with his wild side. Despite their deep love for each other, they begin to feel a growing distance between their souls. Small cracks begin to appear in their relationship, and they soon become unbridgeable chasms. Soon after their marriage, Valerie and Eddie's marriage began to lose its luster. These cracks grew deeper and darker over time. In the early 1980s, Eddie began to face a dangerous enemy, a harmful substance use habit. What may have started as occasional use quickly became a major problem, affecting not only him, but their relationship as well. Eddie's life was filled with drugs and alcohol habits that were hard to break. These addictions were more than just distractions for Valerie and Eddie. They became walls that kept them apart. A sudden storm arose, and Valerie was caught between the cracks. She was not just the celebrity wife of a rock star. She was a woman trying to keep her marriage together while watching the man she loved sink deeper into addiction. Over the years, Valerie supported Eddie through his many attempts at recovery. At times, he would stay sober, giving him hope that things could get better. But then he would relapse, sending them both back into a cycle of pain and failure. Valerie fought not only to save her marriage, but also to save the man she loved. Eddie's health deteriorated as his addiction became more severe. When he was diagnosed with oral cancer, fans had no idea how bad things were. He had to have a third of his tongue removed, which is difficult for any artist, let alone one who sings and plays guitar. However, Eddie continued to smoke and drink, refusing to give up the bad habits that were killing him. Valerie suffered silently, and there was nothing she could do about it. Valerie was more than just a wife. She was also a caregiver. Managing medical appointments, treatments, and mounting bills became a daily part of her life. But even with these responsibilities, her emotional world was collapsing. Living with a man who was physically present but emotionally absent left her feeling lonely and isolated. Being married is one thing, but feeling completely alone in it is another. Both Valerie and Eddie seek solace outside of their relationship. Extramarital affairs are more than just a way to entertain themselves. They are a sign of deep emotional abandonment. Each tries to fill the void left by the other, but their attempts to escape only make things worse and push them further apart. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a relationship where internal struggles like addiction or the pressures of fame tested the love like Valerie and Eddie's story? If so, leave a 2, if not, comment a 5. Enjoy the video to discover this emotional story, and don't forget to leave a sub to support the channel. Years later, Valerie revealed that she had had an affair during one of the worst periods of her marriage. It wasn't a deliberate betrayal. It was because she craved the love and attention she couldn't find at home. It was clear that Valerie was suffering from deep sadness. She developed an eating disorder because she used food to cope with her emotions. She then gained weight, which led to public and tabloid criticism. This caused her to withdraw even further from the media. She isolated herself from people and events, sinking into a painful silence. This isn't just about her changing body. It's about a woman dealing with loss of control, heartbreak, and disappointment. Valerie's mental health struggles during this time show the true cost of addiction and social isolation. People admire her on television, but she is facing battles that no one sees. Her journey is about survival and learning to cope with a life that seems beautiful on the outside but is falling apart on the inside. Valerie continued to cling to hope, even as her marriage deteriorated. But hope alone was not enough. Although she was loved, it did not protect her from loneliness or heartbreak. What remained was a complex mix of pain, care, and strength. Their story was about more than fame or music. It was about the toll of addiction and the quiet desperation that can exist in even the most famous relationships. Valerie and Eddie grew apart, a sad truth hidden by their glamour. No matter how far apart they were, the story wasn't over. The breakdown of their marriage wasn't a loud or public event, but a quiet reality. In 2001, rumors were circulating, but it was still a surprise when they were officially confirmed. Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen, Hollywood's golden couple at one time, quietly announced their separation after 26 years of marriage. There was no public controversy or drama when the news was announced. Instead, there was just a brief statement that left fans and the media wanting more. No big news, no angry interviews. The public had to fill in the blanks about why they had split. After the initial announcement of the split, there was little noise for 6 long years. Although the divorce was not officially finalized until December 2007, there was little in the way of media coverage in that time. Valerie, who had always been seen as a stable and steady partner, remained silent. She did not speak to reporters. There were no articles or interviews revealing where things went wrong. Valerie decided to devote all her time to her son Wolfgang and her role as a mother. She now had only one mission: to protect her son from the chaos in their family. Her choice to remain private was not only to protect her privacy, she also chose to start her life anew, away from the attention that came with being the wife of a rock star. During this time, Valerie kept her work low-key, away from the spotlight that had once been her constant companion. There were no red carpet appearances or publicity stunts. Away from the glitzy world of showbiz, she settled into a quieter, more normal life. But the public still talked. In the absence of an official response, the media was quick to jump to their own conclusions, spreading rumors and fabricating stories. Some claimed it was a typical Hollywood breakup over infidelity, while others said the cracks had long existed due to their different lifestyles. The silence has created a void that the public is eager to fill. Was Eddie's crazy rock and roll lifestyle to blame? Or was it something deeper, something private between them that they didn't want to share? The couple's silence and choice to remain silent about the breakup only adds to the mystery. And of course, with mystery comes speculation. Fans who saw them rise to fame together now watch their every move for clues. Is every public appearance a sign of trouble? Is there a chance of reconciliation? The media loves to dig deeper, but Valerie is silent. For years, the couple seemed to have disappeared from the sight of anyone outside their circle of close friends and family. That silence only fueled speculation about why they split. Their marriage seemed like something lost in time, like a puzzle that no one could solve. This left fans wondering if they really knew the couple, or if Valerie and Eddie's public image had always been a carefully crafted lie. Some people couldn't ignore the discrepancy between their perfect couple image and their slowly crumbling marriage. But eventually, the truth came out. It just took Valerie nearly 20 years to decide to speak out. She didn't do it just for the sake of public curiosity. It was part of a larger healing process. When she finally opened up in her books and appearances, it wasn't just about her marriage to Eddie. It wasn't about the divorce papers. It was about something deeper that had hurt her. Valerie Bertinelli finally opened up about her private life in 2008 when her book, Losing It, was released. After years of silence, it was the first time she shared publicly about the real problems in her marriage to Eddie Van Halen. People and the media had long speculated that Eddie's battle with addiction was not a short phase, but a long journey with drugs and alcohol that changed the course of their relationship. Valerie finally puts Eddie's battle with addiction into words. This is more than just the crazy life of a rock star. It's a powerful force that tore apart their marriage, causing pain, confusion, and distance. Valerie tells it honestly without mincing words. She talks about the ups and downs of loving someone who is both her partner and her enemy. She loves Eddie's artistic, passionate human spirit, but hates the addictions that are trying to take over his life. Her story is a mix of love and hurt, hope and despair. It shows the impossible balance she tries to maintain while clinging to a man who is often lost in his own problems. It's not just Eddie who is affected by his habits. It affects Valerie, who, despite being married, feels emotionally alone. In her marriage, Valerie felt lonely because she had difficulty connecting with someone she could not reach. This loneliness was not just a lack of intimacy, it was also a lack of love, trust, and emotional support. Valerie made no secret of the truth. She admitted to having an affair while her marriage was falling apart. She did it not out of infidelity, but out of a longing for the love and attention she was no longer receiving. Her memoir reveals a side of their marriage that is very different from the golden couple image many people have come to associate with it. Rather than a fairy tale love story, it is a story of pain, strength, and survival. Valerie doesn't paint Eddie as a villain. She sees him as a flawed man struggling with issues that neither of them fully understood or could overcome together. Recounting isn't just about exposing old wounds, it's about healing. Valerie shares candidly how therapy saved her life, helping her process complex feelings about her marriage and her own substance use. She learned to live without the ghosts of her past by overcoming addiction and accepting herself. Losing It is more than a memoir. It is a manifesto of survival and a reminder of the strength it takes to face difficult truths. Valerie goes deeper in her second book, Enough, already published in 2022. This book makes her reflect more deeply on the perfect marriage they maintained for outsiders. Valerie talks about how she idolized Eddie and their relationship, clinging to a false image of them both. She admits that the truth was very different. They met too young, unprepared, and lacking the tools to deal with fame, addiction, and loneliness. The fairy tale couple turned out to be just two people trying to survive in a harsh world. The most shocking news came in 2024 when Valerie publicly announced that Eddie was not her soulmate. The statement came as a surprise to many, but it struck a chord with those who understand that love isn't always what it seems. She said they were emotionally divorced nearly 20 years before they officially divorced. Her love for Eddie had changed, and she no longer loved the man Eddie had become. This admission shattered the final illusion, revealing the emotional truth behind their long separation. Valerie's honesty has drawn mixed reactions. Many have praised her for her courage in breaking her silence and speaking publicly about addiction, infidelity, and mental health topics that most people, especially celebrities, tend to avoid. Others have taken issue with her sharing her family issues, wondering whether it's fair to talk about someone's past after they've passed away. Valerie, however, was undeterred and continued to use her platform to speak her truth and inspire those who were suffering in silence. Her revelations changed the narrative. Valerie was no longer just the wife of a rock star or the ex-girlfriend of a TV star. She became a voice for healing and honesty, showing that behind a happy story is often pain, and that speaking the truth is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. Valerie's journey inspires others to face their own struggles, proving that light can be found even after years of darkness. Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen's relationship maintained a special connection. Even after their divorce, they remained parents to their son Wolfgang Van Halen. They moved from being husband and wife to a different kind of family, one based on love, care, and respect for their son. The family is estranged, but it remains real and vital. They make sure to be present at important events. Valerie and Eddie are often seen together not as a couple, but as Wolfgang's parents at birthday parties, concerts, and events honoring Van Halen's life. They are polite and friendly in public, demonstrating that they can still support each other in important ways, even if they are no longer lovers. That love endured through the toughest days. Valerie was there for Eddie as his health declined from throat cancer. In his final days, she visited frequently and stood by his bedside with him. There were no cameras or flash bulbs, just the peace of a family saying goodbye. After Eddie passed away in October 2020, Valerie posted a touching tribute on Instagram. Her words expressed a complex sadness, a mix of love, loss, and reflection. She reflected on how her life changed when she met him, and again when she had to say goodbye. Her post touched the hearts of many, reflecting on the long journey she had been on, with Eddie filled with both joy and sadness. Eddie and Valerie's relationship grew into something far more than romantic love. It was a lifelong connection based on family memories and mutual care. They were no longer husband and wife, but their son, and the life they had built together still bound them together. This connection was sometimes difficult to understand, especially when the past was painful, but it showed that family can take many different shapes. For them, love didn't necessarily end when the marriage ended. It changed shape over time, finding a way to exist quietly beneath the surface. For Valerie and Eddie, that quiet friendship helped them through the pain of loss. But what did Valerie do after Eddie died? How did she move forward when her life was so deeply tied to someone else? The sequel will explore her journey as she starts over, faces new challenges, and finds peace through the darkness of her past. When Valerie Bertinelli split from Eddie Van Halen, life was not easy for her. It took her years to get over her first marriage and the painful divorce process. She began a new chapter in her life with the hope of finding peace and happiness. In 2011, Valerie married Tom Vitale, a business planner, with the hope of a fresh start and the chance to build a relationship based on maturity and understanding. This second marriage was that chance. Things looked promising at first. Valerie entered the relationship with lessons from her past patience communication and the importance of self-care. They hoped that the marriage would bring them the mental balance and mutual respect they had missed. But even with a new perspective, problems soon emerged. Over time, differences in personal values and lifestyles became apparent, causing conflicts that neither could fully resolve. The pressures of life and emotional wounds from the past made the relationship difficult to maintain. By 2021, Valerie made the difficult decision to file for separation, saying she and her husband had become too different to reconcile. In 2022, the divorce was finalized, marking a painful but necessary turning point. Through this experience, Valerie learned an important lesson: love isn't enough to fix everything. She admitted that the reason she stayed in relationships longer than she should have was because she believed love could overcome everything. This time, she understood that recovery requires more than love. It requires honesty, self-awareness, and the courage to leave when necessary. Valerie then focused entirely on her mental health and personal happiness. Moving past the years of pain was a long journey, but regular therapy helped her learn to set boundaries. Therapy played a key role in helping her regain her identity as an individual beyond just a wife and mother. She also decided to stop drinking, realizing it was good for her health and mental clarity. This commitment is not just about improving your health. It is about building a new life based on self-love and self-respect. Valerie did not just face her struggles in silence. She used her fame to speak publicly about anxiety and panic attacks, issues she had suffered from, and became an advocate for mental health awareness. In November 2024, Valerie posted a video documenting a severe anxiety attack to let people know they were not alone in their struggles. Her openness resonated with many, making her an inspirational role model for others facing similar issues. Valerie also had a brief relationship with writer Mike Goodnow in 2024 before they broke up. Their relationship began to gain traction on social media and blossomed into a public romance, raising hopes that Valerie was opening up again. Fans were excited to see them together at the Daytime Emmy Awards, hoping she would find happiness. But in November of that year, the couple announced their split, citing outside pressure, not a lack of affection, as the cause. Both Valerie and Mike expressed respect and gratitude for their time together, showing maturity in how they handled the breakup. Valerie went on to emphasize an important lesson she learned: self-love and independence are the first steps to true healing. She candidly shared how she realized she couldn't rely on others to fill her emotional void. Instead, she nurtured her own happiness and mental health, understanding that no one else could make her whole. This was a far cry from her younger self, when she looked to love to ease her pain. Looking back at Valerie's life, we see her strength and resilience as she navigated new relationships, mental health challenges, and personal growth. For decades, she was closely watched and suffered in silence, but she decided to reclaim her life on her own terms. Valerie Bertinelli is a woman today who embraces truth and authenticity more than ever. After years of shining as a beloved TV star, she returned to television not only as an entertainer, but also as a lifestyle coach and mental health activist. Valerie now uses her platform to speak openly about emotional health, sharing her personal journey with honesty and courage. Her transition from the traditional roles that defined her to one of encouraging people to prioritize mental health marks a powerful shift. Her story is about learning to stand alone, finding inner peace, and embracing life's imperfections without shame or fear. After major life events, Valerie Bertinelli found solace and purpose in writing. In addition to her 2 books, Losing It and Enough Already, she continues to share her reflections through her personal blog and social media. Her writing is not only a way to release her emotions, but also a bridge that helps her connect with others struggling with similar issues. Writing has become a form of therapy, helping Valerie confront the dark corners of her soul and turn them into a source of inspiration. She often says that putting pen to paper helps her understand herself better, thereby strengthening her belief in her ability to overcome difficulties. Valerie was once known as a TV star and the wife of a rock legend, but she has worked to redefine success on her own terms. Instead of chasing the Hollywood spotlight, she focuses on deeper values, inner peace, mental health, and the ability to help others. In recent interviews, Valerie has shared that success for her now is not about awards or fame, but about moments when she feels fulfilled as an individual. This shift reflects her journey of growing up from someone who lives for the public eye to someone who lives for her own worth. Of all the roles Valerie has played, being a mother to Wolfgang Van Halen has always been the one she cherishes the most. After Eddie's death, she devoted even more time to supporting her son, not only in his personal life but also in his musical career. Valerie regularly attends Wolfgang's concerts, proudly watching her son continue his father's musical legacy in his own way. She shares that being a mother is not only a responsibility, but also her greatest source of motivation, helping her to persevere through difficult times and find joy in simple things. In 2025, Valerie continues to expand her role as a mental health advocate. She partners with nonprofits to host webinars and community events where she shares how to overcome anxiety and build mental resilience. Her personal story, from coping with an eating disorder to panic attacks, helps to debunk stigmas around mental health, especially among celebrities. Valerie emphasizes that admitting to one's weaknesses does not make one weak, but rather is the first step to becoming stronger. In addition to writing and social activism, Valerie finds joy in cooking, a passion that she has turned into a major part of her career. She continues to host a show on the Food Network where she shares simple yet meaningful recipes often tied to family memories. For Valerie, cooking is not just a job, but a way to heal, bring people together, and create warm moments. She often says that a good meal can be medicine for the soul, and she hopes to inspire others to find joy in the little things. Looking back on her life, Valerie Bertinelli expresses deep gratitude for all that she has been through, both the joy and the pain. She believes that her challenges, from her broken marriage to Eddie Van Halen to her struggles with mental health, have shaped her into the strong and authentic woman she is today. In an Instagram post in early 2025, she wrote, "Every scar tells a story, and I am proud of my stories." This gratitude has not only helped her find peace, but has also inspired her followers to embrace their own journeys, no matter how difficult they may be. Valerie Bertinelli discovered art as a way to heal and reconnect with herself. She began experimenting with painting and ceramics activities that allowed her to express her emotions without words. These creative moments gave her a freedom where she could let go of the pressures of the past and focus on the present. Valerie often shares that art taught her to accept imperfection, a lesson she has applied to her life, helping her appreciate the small but meaningful moments. Valerie has turned social media into a space to foster empathy and support for one another. She hosts regular online chats where fans can share personal stories about mental health and life challenges. These sessions not only help her connect more deeply with her audience, but also create a community where people feel heard. Valerie believes that creating a safe space to share is an important part of breaking down stigmas around mental health. One of the most important steps in Valerie's journey was learning to forgive herself for past mistakes. She struggled with guilt over decisions in relationships and times when she felt she wasn't strong enough. Over time, she realized that forgiveness doesn't mean erasing the past, but accepting it as a part of who you are. Valerie shares this lesson with her fans, encouraging them to be kind to themselves and view setbacks as opportunities to grow. Valerie has found peace in meditation, a practice she began exploring to manage stress and improve her mental health. She spends a few minutes each day focusing on her breathing and reflecting, which helps her find balance in her busy days. Valerie often says that meditation not only helps her manage anxiety, but also brings clarity when making important decisions. She encourages her followers to try meditation as a simple yet effective way to care for their souls. Valerie has become a particular inspiration to the younger generation who are facing the pressures of social media and societal expectations. She regularly speaks at schools and community events, sharing her journey through adversity and the importance of being true to herself. With honesty and relatability, Valerie encourages young people to prioritize their mental health and seek support when needed, leaving her mark as a guide for those seeking direction in life. After her divorce from Tom Vitale in 2022, Valerie Bertinelli began to look at marriage through a new lens. She realized that the romantic expectations she had as a young woman that drove her into marriage no longer suited her as an adult. Valerie shared in interviews that marriage was no longer an end goal for her, but a journey that required deep understanding from both partners. She focused on building relationships based on respect and companionship, rather than trying to meet a perfect model imposed by society. Although her marriage to Tom Vitale ended in heartbreak, Valerie learned valuable lessons about independence. She admits that in the early years of their marriage, she tried to fit in by sacrificing a part of herself, repeating the mistakes of her past with Eddie Van Halen. However, when irreconcilable differences arose, Valerie learned to listen to her own needs. The decision to divorce was not a failure, but a step forward for her to respect her personal values and find true happiness outside of marriage. A brief relationship with Mike Goodnow in 2024 marked a period in which Valerie opened herself up to love again. Although it only lasted a few months, the relationship gave her joy and confidence that she could still love and be loved. Valerie shared that Mike helped her remember what it felt like to be appreciated, but the pressure of public attention led to the couple's decision to part ways. She did not see it as a loss, but rather as an opportunity to gain clarity about what she truly wanted in a future relationship, emphasizing the importance of inner peace. Valerie has learned to accept that no relationship is perfect, and this has changed the way she approaches love after 2 marriages. She often talks about letting go of the illusion of a fairy tale happy ending and instead focusing on building genuine connections. In her social media posts, Valerie encourages her fans to cherish the small moments in relationships like deep conversations or quiet support rather than chasing unrealistic expectations of everlasting love. One of the biggest changes in Valerie's perspective on marriage was the importance of self-care. She realized that in order to be a good partner, she needed to be mentally and emotionally healthy first. After her divorce from Tom Vitale, Valerie invested time in activities like yoga writing and connecting with close friends, which helped her build a strong foundation for herself. She shared that a healthy marriage cannot survive if one partner loses themselves, and this lesson has shaped the way she views relationships going forward. Despite her painful experiences in marriage, Valerie has not closed her mind to the idea of love or marriage in the future. However, she emphasizes that any future relationship must be based on equality and mutual growth. In a recent interview, she expressed her desire to find a partner who is not only a lover, but also a companion on a journey of self-discovery. With the confidence and wisdom gained from her difficult years, Valerie continues to inspire that love at any stage of life is always worth cherishing if it is built on a foundation of honesty. Thank you for watching the emotional story of Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen. Valerie's journey not only reveals the truth behind her broken marriage, but also exemplifies the power of honesty and healing. What do you think of her revelations? Leave your thoughts in the comments and share this video to spread the message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for future videos. See you soon.